Here's the part that may be most important to understand, and that's that many dentists don't actually know what they're writing off to insurance. They don't actually know it. They don't know what that dollar amount is. In fact, this particular doctor didn't either, and that's why he went to his accountant, and his accountant helped him figure out what he was actually, what was happening. Here's why. There's two ways to enter your fees into your practice management software. One way is to enter your usual UCR fees, your usual customary reasonable fees. And then when you get an EOB, you load that into the computer, and then the software does the heavy lifting of the math to determine what your adjusted production was. But only 10% of the dentists in the country do it that way. The other way that is also accepted as an accounting norm is to enter your contracted fees. So you entered your contracted fees into your fee schedules, on your practice management software. And 90% of the dentists in the country do it that way. And all three major software platforms encourage you to do that. Dentrix, EagleSoft, Open Dental encourage you to enter that, your contracted fees. And the reason they encourage that is that then you can more easily track your collections, because it's a one-to-one relationship of those numbers. So if you produced $100,000 this month in adjusted production, Naren, I'm just using a number that I made up just for round numbers, then we want to collect as close to $100,000 this month, one-to-one, because that $100,000 is your adjusted production, in terms of what you can actually collect, from the patient based on the PPO plan. But remember that 90% of dentists don't know what that is. They don't know what that is because they've entered their contracted fees. So they don't know what they're running off. So the analogy that I like to use, it's like driving, a exotic sports car, and by that I mean your practice, with blindfolds on. Can you imagine Aaron getting into a Ferrari with blindfolds on and going out on the highway? No. That actually being a car guy, that makes me break out into a sweat. Absolutely. But if you don't know, you might be just thinking, well, my hygiene isn't as profitable as it is. But when you actually enter your usual fees in, and you can see what you're writing off, you can run an adjustment report of what you're actually writing off. All of a sudden, the obvious pain becomes evident there. And that's what happened with this doctor. He went to his accountant because he had entered his contracted fees in. And so his accountant, first thing he did was said, let's look at what your actual fees are. And that's where it came to light. And that's where the light bulb went off and said, I have to make some changes. So one of the things you could do is Naren and I developed an insurance write-off calculator. It's a custom Excel spreadsheet that has we need three pieces of information to do a calculation on what you're actually writing off. And it's accurate to plus or minus 2%. All I need is annual collections, what percent of your patients are PPO patients, and what your average discount rate is on your fees under that PPO plan. And if you don't know what that discount rate is, you can use 45%, because in 2023, that's the average discount. So if you don't know what that is, you could enter 45%, and that would give you a ballpark figure. We do need to know what percent of your patients are PPO patients, because that allows the data to be accurate.